For many parts of the country, this week brought the hottest weather that we have experienced since the month of June. And this heat wave impacted not only us here at home, but also a good portion of the United States. In this week's Climate Friday newsletter, we're going to talk about some of the temperatures that were recorded this week, including a series of 90s in the Toledo area, and also what's on tap for September, which may feature a shift in the weather pattern towards some cooler conditions. So let's break down some of the climate impacts that we are seeing, as well as some of the hot weather that was recorded across the United States. A number of Americans, including many states, especially in the Midwest and the Great Plains, experienced well above average sweltering temperatures. At one point, there were over 70 million Americans who were under heat alerts, whether those were heat advisories or excessive heat warnings or something in between with hotter than normal conditions. For us here at home, we are now up to 15 90-degree days. We were running a little sparse after a cooler than average July, but that tally is now up to 15 days at or above the 90-degree mark. The hottest span of weather that we've experienced all summer, that is still during the month of June, if you remember, around Father's Day from the 16th through the 22nd. And last year, we only had 11 90-degree days. So we've already surpassed last year with 15. Now, we're still below normal for the number of 90-degree days that is typical in Northwest Ohio and southeastern Michigan. And time will tell if we're able to recoup that difference and make it up to an average number of 90s. So how do we fare on a month-by-month basis? The season started off with a couple 90s during the month of May with some hotter than normal conditions. Now, the month of June, that is the summertime month that you'll likely remember for bringing the most long-term sustained heat with quite the stretch of weather and 8 90-degree days. July, those 90s were hard to come by, and in August, we are now up to 3 90-degree days after this late summer heat that we have felt this week. Now, that included the second hottest summer day that we have logged all summer so far. 95 was the official high temperature on Tuesday, and that makes it the second hottest day of the summer season. Now, our average high temperature, though, is going to be cooling off rapidly as we round the corner from August and September, and our normal high is going to be down to 82 degrees as we turn over the calendars into the new month. Officially, the second hottest day of the summer season was recorded on Tuesday. That's August 27th. And the hottest day, you may remember that one, the 17th of June, we hit 99 degrees. Now, we did have another 95 that came just a few days later on the 20th, but this 90-degree reading is well into the unusual as it stands out compared to those other days during the month of June. 19th, we hit 94 degrees. June 21st, we hit 94. And June 22nd, we also hit 94. This is a list of the hottest days that we've recorded this summer so far. So did we break any records this week? Well, not quite. Even that extraordinarily hot 95-degree day Tuesday was still just shy of the 99 record. And we also had a pair of 90s Sunday into Monday, and both of those also fell shy of the records that were 95 and 97. So certainly hot, but not technically record-setting this week. Now, across the globe, in a couple of these Climate Friday newsletters, we talked about how month after month after month, we were setting record hottest conditions globally. We officially made it 13 months in a row that were the hottest on record across the world. However, July ended that streak as we fell short of July 2023. It was still the second hottest July that has ever been recorded globally, but the weather pattern here could be perhaps indicative of what other areas experienced, and it wasn't quite the hottest on record. So we made it 13 months, and that is a link to climate change that is becoming more prevalent. Those hottest record months are continually being set. Across the United States, it's been a very, very hot week. In just the past week alone, almost 650 records have been set, and that includes both daytime high and overnight low temperature records. If we go back a month, that number increases by almost a factor of 10, with close to 6,200 records that have been set across the United States. Now, this extraordinary heat is becoming a bit more commonplace, and in the Toledo Metro, data going back about 50 years to early 1970s does show you that in a typical year, we are seeing a significant increase in those 90-degree days. And while there is some up and down fluctuation, the overall trend line shows you that 90-plus degree days are becoming more common. And back in 1970, we only saw around 10 90-degree days on average in a given year, and we're already at 15 this year. Now, across the globe, some other interesting weather phenomena have been occurring, and heat is not only happening in the summertime, but also in the winter time in the southern hemisphere. If we go all the way to Australia, extreme heat has occurred across the northwestern part of the country, including a record hottest temperature ever logged during the winter season, 106.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine that not during the summertime, but during the winter. That was still a couple thousand miles to the north of Perth in a very remote location. Yampi Sound, the weather sensor there, detected temperatures that were close to 107, shattering the former record hot temperature. So where do we go from here? It's going to be a hot conclusion to the week. If you're watching this on Friday, you're likely feeling those 90-degree temperatures. Hot weather is expected to continue through the start of the weekend, at least across parts of the Ohio River Valley and the Great Lakes, before we see a significant change in the weather pattern. That does include a cooler and less humid feel early September, with the most below average weather across the Atlantic seaboard and the East Coast. That blue color indicates below average temperatures, and this weather map takes us all the way through September 6th, so likely to stay below average and a bit less humid through the start of the month. Now, we are surely going to have some warmer days left in September, but we'll break down the latest as we officially round the corner to September and also look ahead of the fall season. You can subscribe to that Climate Friday newsletter, WTOL.com/email, and follow along on social media for the latest.